Welcome to part 4 of my CNC router build. Today I will be demonstrating the electronics and the software. Enjoy. Alright, so now I wired up one of the stepper motors. Now this is a NEMA 23 stepper motor. So you're going to need a stepper motor, of course, a stepper motor driver, an Arduino. I have a CNC Shield V3. This just plugs onto the Arduino. Then I have a 12-volt DC power supply. So now I'm going to show you guys the wiring diagram that I used. Alright, so for the wiring, this picture helped me out a lot, and the only difference that I found is that this yellow wire right here is actually black on a NEMA 23 motor. So I'm just going to go over this very briefly. So you just wire up your stepper motor. You just want to make sure the coils are in pair, depending on which stepper motor you have. Then you have your 12 volts positive, which is this red wire, goes to the VCC. 12 volts negative goes to ground. Then on the CNC shield, it was very simple. You just get two wires coming from the CNC shield that are your pulse positive and your direction positive. Then the direction negative and the pulse negative go back to your ground or negative terminal on your CNC shield. So I'll have a link to the image in the description in case you guys just need a better view of this. Alright, so right here, this is the Universal Gcode Sender. So this is what I'm going to be using for my CNC router programming or software, whatever you want to call it. So right here we have the stepper motor all wired up, and so I'm just going to demonstrate that this does work. We have X. I'm going to go back the other way. So works very nicely. So now we just need to put in our stepper motors into our CNC router, and then just wire it up. Then we're pretty much going to be done with this. Alright, so I wrote up a little diagram that I'm going to follow to wire this. So now I'm just going to wire this, and then our CNC machine or CNC router will be done.
Everybody come out quick, look at the lights!
Alright, so here's the electronics after I finished everything. So this is quite the mess, but it's actually simple for the most part. So we have our stepper drivers, and the Ethernet cords go to our stepper motors and this blue cable as well. And what I didn't design for, but I ended up putting in, was the end stops. And these two terminal blocks right here go to our end stops. And on this doorbell wire you can see also goes to our end stops. Alright, so now I'm going to label on the screen where I ended up putting my end stop switches. So for the switch I used a limit switch, and I used doorbell wire to connect power to the Arduino. And I wired the limit switches in a normally open configuration, and these worked out very well. And then I ended up going back and soldering all the connections. Alright, so this is my tune-in for my X-axis. I have this traveling about 1/2 inch. So I have my gantry moving at 1/2 inch towards the camera. So I'm just going to showcase that. I have it pretty much tuned in up until like 1 thou. So if you can see right here, the little hand is on the 5, and our big hand goes about 2/1000ths of an inch over. So that is close enough for me. Alright, so this is my tune-in for the Z-axis. I'm going to be going 1/4 of an inch. So it's a little bit over, but we're going to go back. And so the problem is that I was confused on why I was getting pretty much perfect results on our X and Y, but not on our Z. And my theory is that it's the threaded rod, that the threaded rod and the nut are not exactly precise, which is pretty much impossible to get, but it looks like I have this within 10/1000ths of an inch. This concludes part 4 of my CNC router build. Thank you for watching.